This is a presentation about something you might have heard already from Autodesk called Forge. Who heard about Forge? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's not bad. You gave a training at your site a year ago. Before we start, I am Peter Schlipp from the Forge Partner Development team. Partner includes also customers. I still take care of the European ADN network, so ShipConstructor is an Autodesk Developer Network partner. We focus pretty much on web technology now in our evangelism. So I have a sales background. I worked in 2000 years in different sales roles with Autodesk. And since 2012, I work in Jim Quancy's team for Europe as a technology evangelist. But I'm not a coder. I'm a business economist. And if you talk to me, with me, you can talk about business, pricing models, and so on. So what is it about? I don't need to go into details regarding digital transformation anymore because you heard lots of it yesterday. This presentation, this deck is brand new. It comes from my boss, Jim Quancy, and we use for the Forge, let's say, presentations and now the expression digital transformation. Yesterday, Dennis and also Nick were about to talk about definitions of digital twins. And here you have some from media, Harvard Business Review, reconstructing firms. What I observe, and I had plenty of discussions now with customers and partners, is that this is often about the new, let's say, a redesign of the entire IT organization. So we never talk to so many IT people in the, let's say, I talked to more IT people in the last 2 years than in my entire business life. So that is one thing. Reconstructing the firm, the company, and the other, what they mention here, performance. The other idea is to get a better performance out of it. So there are many discussions and many definitions. We will see how far we come. Whatever kind of newspaper you open, you will find articles about Industry 4.0, industrialized construction in the AEC industry. They talk now about industrializing workflows, not just in automotive. And the same is valid probably in your business as well, in the now and also in the future. Before I forget, please save the date. This is a 20-minute presentation, very short, so I try to condense the information. Normally we run a 45, 50, 60-minute presentation. If anybody is interested in details about the journey of Autodesk in that direction, digital transformation, save the date, October 14th, adjacent to Autodesk University, Germany in Darmstadt. That's close to Frankfurt, 20 minutes by train. So Forge enables this digital transformation of design and make processes and data. That means that it is not a product. Imagine what is it? It's a series of web services, APIs, and you need a developer to work with it. So imagine Lego blocks, like we were kids. You used the Lego blocks to build something. You can build, you could have built a building like that, or a battle, not a battleship, or aircraft like this. It was depending on your own creativity. And that's exactly what we do. Yesterday, we heard from Jose that Forge is enabling the BIM 360 platform. Later, I show you an example of the Fusion 360. So all the Autodesk 360 products are built with Forge components. Or the other way around. The components we internally use, we branded it, I think it was back in 2016 during AU Las Vegas, and Americans are very good in names and branding, and we just branded those software libraries, so this activity being Forge. Internally, we call the entire cloud platform organization now Forge, but I don't want to confuse you even more. So outside, it's the building blocks, it's a platform, it's a web services APIs. We have some in place and more will to come. And it's up to you, with the help of web developers, to use it to improve and individualize your solutions. We are going to see some examples in a minute. So the good news is it's all standard technology. JavaScript, RESTful API on this back end could be, those are examples, could be .NET, React, AngularJS. That means we're any kid out of school, or like our American colleagues would say, so young guys, young people, young girls, ladies from university have it on their, they have those skills. So you can work with almost anybody if you build up additional stuff regarding web services. That is the good news. The bad news is that it is still hard to find people, as we heard yesterday in the, and I found the idea nice from our colleague from recruiting to work with ex-sportsmen. That's a cool idea, but it is hard. So now, what do we see as on this journey to digital transformation? I learned about marine data information systems. Yesterday I learned about ShipConstructor's digital hub, and that's exactly the kind of platform. So pieces of data, platforms we are going to use to create a new, let's say, organization around digital data. We heard that collaboration, Michael Jordan said, the team is king, not just the individual player, and that's exactly what it is about. In the projects I observe in the last couple of months and years, it is very often coming from the office environment to ERP, and then it's about collaboration, CRM systems, and of course the entire, not just the design process, but the entire design and life cycle of a project. Can be a large vessel or a large hospital. It's at the end exactly the same, let's say, kind of data and data processing approach. So that's where, those are the areas where we talk about integration. And now just something similar what we have seen in the last presentation. We have two examples. This is the AC, and that's the, let's say, what we call manufacturing example where we, using Autodesk Forge services building blocks, and later I show you in our original website what kind of building blocks we offer. We create and realize the connection between the different data formats and the organizational units in this enterprise or in a larger organization. So that means that Autodesk in the last years moved from an application-oriented organization. So, you know, when we were in sales years ago, we said now it's time to go to Inventor, it's time to go parametric software. We don't do that anymore in, let's say we still sell it, but we consider or we look at scenarios with our customers coming from the data. So we consume the Forge data from any kind of systems we find, competitors, our own formats, 60 plus file formats are supported. And this is exactly where we avoid those silo situations and enable the connection between those entities. So I called it data connected. Sometimes you hear data in the center, and I think this picture reminds you to some of the pictures you saw yesterday. I think it was Dennis' presentation when he was looking into the future. So digital hub, it's exactly the same journey we are going here. And I repeat, Forge is not the only platform. It is a set of services you can use to combine platforms or to connect BIM 360 with the ShipConstructor digital hub, for example, or to connect the different areas of interest here. Now, I see activities and projects in those 4 areas. The most, let's say, beautiful is, and we will see some examples, it's visualization, and the easiest one. So with Forge, you can in 5 minutes, I showed that 3 years ago on an Autodesk University, in 5 minutes you can upload a large 3D model on a website, being a student. And I've seen that a couple of years ago on a ShipConstructor website. I think you did it, Dennis, many years ago, right? And it took you 5 or 4 minutes, or 10 minutes. That's easy, 4 lines of HTML5 code, and that's it. But it's not about the nice pictures. It's also the organization and connecting different entities. Can be supply chain people, can be internal organizations. And number 4 is automate. So performance. At the beginning, we have seen the statements. Performance is the other big thing. Not just to get a company digital. For example, what always comes up is larger organizations and infrastructure environment, railway organizations, railway companies, airports. It's always the same thing. They tell us we have thousands, millions of assets. Can be a building, can be a track, can be a signal, or even a small lamp. And we need to digitize them. So that's another definition of digital twin. This is not a digital twin of a factory. It's the journey of digitizing all those assets to be more performant at the end, to maintain and run this organization. A big vessel, I imagine, in a lifetime of 30 years, 40 years, I don't know how long. Yesterday, we were on a ship which was built in 31, but that's probably not the typical example. But let's say 30 years is a long time, and that's where the profitability comes from. Now, I have another 10 minutes, right? So 5? 7? Okay, so let's see some examples. Customers start in those areas, and digital twin, augmented reality, SAS. Let me show you some. I will start. I prepared some, so we are quicker. Maybe the first at the end, the fusion one. So this is an example where you can see live how in a digital model of a mechanical part, we can simulate, if the data is loading, we can simulate temperature, airstreams. So I use the network from the conference center. Let's see how it performance is. During the loading time, I show you something else. That's something else. Let's load the other one. That's a simulation of Wi-Fi signal, Wi-Fi installation. So imagine enable the failure. Depending on the position of the system, of the router, you can see the attenuation, we call it. They call it easy, quick. Not a big deal. Let's see the other thing loaded now. No, it's still loading. Okay. This example comes from a partner in India, CC Tech. If it doesn't load, I show you that side. Now here, this is something else, talking about infrastructure. Fuhrer and Frey in Bern, Switzerland, they are building overhead lines for trains. And this is nothing but the website. So what I show you here is a website, and they incorporated in the website galleries. So models of their installations for their customers to visualize what they did. Network. Let's try this one. remember in the PowerPoint we are showing examples. We were talking about visualization of data, because digital twin means also that we need to provide the customers with meaningful data. The digital model and the digital twin of this overhead contact line is not meaningful. Now, having it in the browser here in this hotel on my machine, it converts it into meaningful data, what we as human beings can see. Another quick example, that's Portuguese, but it's I looked it up, it's in Brazil. This is super easy. Prefeitura Coatia is a city, a co-working space, and it's nothing but showing the space to the people who want to rent it out. Co-working, auditorio, one click, and you can visualize it. There are thousands of examples possible. I go back to my presentation. So that's about data visualization. Now, a video, let's see if the sound works.
Manage your operations effortlessly and be a beacon of light in the manufacturing world.
A partner from Oslo, Norway.
Assign tasks and maintenance routine analysis to simulate operations and detect potential bottlenecks,
small factories,
and much more. On top of it to meet the requirements for the fourth industrial
right. So they do it in fish factories, bakeries, optimizing workflows, minimizing costs, or timber manufacturing. Another one. DPR
in our
company in Northern California.
We have lots of examples,
facility management,
and particularly the easy way to navigate into it and get to the information that they want. Imagine someone's working in ViewOps, looking in the viewer. They focus on an asset. They can pull up the work order history. They can pull up the trend data from the building management system. They can pull up FM.
All right. Optimizing workflows and performance in. Now this is too nice, I need to show you this one. That's about digital twin and, for example, identifying parts. So this is a turbine. The example is made by Michael Beal, my colleague, and it is combining the visualization of the 3D model and the performance and maintenance procedure on the right side. So for example, if you really want to identify, I don't know in English those parts, this one here, you can click it, isolate it, and that is very, very beautiful because on the mechanical side, catalog management, spare parts, order management is a big problem and a big thing. So that's where our manufacturing partners are working on. I can share with you all those examples. Let's see what else do we have here. This one is here. This is a website. Now it's about AR and VR. In this case, it's not a film. I just show you the picture. Imagine you are on site and people can, in this case with an iPad, in some cases they use HoloLens or other items, visualize the next step. Could be rebar in a concrete environment, or in this case it's an installation in this factory, which is AR-wise augmented for the workers to optimize and visualize it. A company called Visual Life. Okay. I have so many examples we could, but it doesn't really matter because I can share many with you later. A quick look at the web page. So it all starts, some of you might heard about ADN, it's a membership here. It's not, it's just signing in. This is where everything starts, and the building blocks I was talking about are listed here. For the beginning to visualize, usually you need some of those blocks to upload a 3D model, to translate it into a derivative format, to show it in a browser or on your mobile phone. You find on this webpage tutorials to look into that. And you also find the community partners, for example, system integrators who might help if you want to start a project. Okay, so that's the website. It will come with blogs about questions. All our, let's say, experts are listed here and write information. And last, I have a vessel example in BIM 360, but it is impossible to show. It's, we are not allowed to show it, but I found something else I quickly can share with you. This is an example of a vessel in Fusion 360. It's an AutoCAD model placed with Navisworks in Fusion. And here it's another example how we use Forge. You can see the same menu we have seen in the other one, in the other examples. We internally use Forge components to enable the functionality of our cloud products. Fusion 360, as you know, is a hybrid. It's not just cloud. There's one which is only running in the cloud. But that is another example how we can, let's say, connect the different worlds, connect data hubs, connect software services, and bring that together. We spend internally, the Forge team, about 40% for internal evangelization, so to our own product management, to use the technology. Because the company in maybe 5-10 years will offer much more web services, browser-oriented products than desktop products. I don't say it will go away, AutoCAD, Inventor, Revit in a desktop, but it will come down. So it is a key element for us to convince our own customers, internal customers like here, to use that. And having said that, I have many more examples, but we stop here. Maybe the last one, Chris Etchison from CutShare, he was mentioned in the analyst calls from Andrew Anagnost, and he will be a key speaker at the DEF CON. And with this video, I close. There's no sound, this is without sound. This is a web service. They have it on their webpage. You can sign up for a monthly fee and organize your own spare part organization using a web service. So they do a service as a company for many. It's not a one-off, it's a solution for the market. Same like we have BIM 360 apps in our app store connecting to Google Drive. This is for the market. Yeah? So in this example, you can see how that works. And anybody can use this service to organize the internal company or the external purchasing digital buying solution. So we are in the afternoon still around, Jose and myself. If you have questions about Forge, don't hesitate to ask me. And I think I'm almost in time. Thank you.